the daily Tamid sacrifices, which were offered twice daily in the temple and are mentioned in our parasha, have a profound connection to Shiva Asar B'Tammuz, the fast day that we observe this week. Our sages in Mishnah Tani teach as follows. There were 5 events that happened to our ancestors on the 17th of Tammuz. The tablets were shattered, the Tamid daily offering was cancelled, the walls of the city were breached, and Apostamus burnt the Torah and placed an idol in the temple. Let's delve a little deeper into the meaning of the disruption of the Tamid daily sacrifices in the temple. Rav Ovadia Bar Tanura, in his commentary on the Mishnah, writes as follows. No sheep were found for sacrifice due to the siege that was placed on the city. Here was this thing that occurred in the temple every day, twice a day, but under the circumstances of war, of siege. They got disrupted. There was a sword shortage, and no sheep could be found. Yonah Razi, in a commentary on this Mishnah, offers something that sounds like a poem and offers some existential shape and form to the disruption of this Tamid. Yonah Razi writes, it is always, in the Hebrew Tamid, it is always important to inquire after the meaning of the Tamid daily sacrifice being disrupted. The Tamid was Tamid. It was always. And then that always became null and void. The illusion of routine life came to a halt, and our sense of Tamid, of the always, was annulled. The everyday was no more, forevermore. Le Tamid, forevermore. What happens to us emotionally, psychologically, religiously, when we believe that something will be there forever, and that sense of forever gets broken, gets taken away? Moriah brought, in her commentary on this Mishnah, offers an additional dimension, and she writes, it seems like the nullification of the Tamid daily offering, which is also mentioned in this week's Torah portion, is the event that is the least discussed among the 5 events mentioned in the Mishnah. The Tamid daily sacrifice was offered twice every day in the Holy Temple, in the morning and in the afternoon. Beyond its constant nature, the Tamid expressed an additional value. It was completely acquired through public funds. The funds for the Tamid offerings were collected from the entire people, equally and uniformly. Everybody gave, and everybody gave the same amount, rich and poor alike. And as such, the Tamid represented everyone's equal contribution with no exception. What happens to a community? What happens to a society? What happens to a nation when that thing that symbolizes that we all share in the burden, that we all equally contribute, that we all equally sacrifice, when that symbol is taken away, what happens to us? What happens to the moral fabric of that society? Rav Moshe Tzvi Wexler offers one final thought in his own commentary on this Mishnah, and he writes, the Tamid daily offering represents consistency in the service of God and the ability to maintain continuous faith even in difficult times when the heavenly horizon of belief grow cold and darkness descends on the Jewish people. In such times, as long as we continue to hold on to the Tamid daily offerings according to their proper time and order, then these will come to symbolize the strengthening and endurance of the Jewish people. When the Tamid offering is nullified, he writes, this symbol of continuity and sanity is ruptured. We know so well, too well, what it means for the thing that is Tamid, that is constant, the thing that we take for granted because we thought it will always be there, to be taken away from us. Isn't that what these past few months have been like for so many of us? Isn't that an access point for all of us to understand what Shivasar B'Tammuz, the 17th of Tammuz, was about, and what these 3 weeks of introspection leading to Tisha B'Av ought to be about. What is in our control in regards to the violation of the Tamid, of our sense of constancy, of our sense of that which we thought will always be there? Just a number of ideas. Some things are not there. The Tamid might not be there. But in the face of losing the Tamid, the rabbis inserted our own customs and our own sense of Tamid, our own sense of new routines, praying 3 times a day as just an example. We need to build our lives spiritually with new Tamids, with an understanding that the routines that are still there and the routines that we can now adopt can become the new Tamid, the new containers for sanctity and meaning and sanity in our life. In a similar way, in a time in which society is experiencing such vulnerability and a sense that the social fabric can tear, we, to whatever control we have, need to insist that we all contribute, that we all bear the burden, that we all feel a sense of sacrifice, be it within our own community or in our larger society that we belong to. And. Let us insist on faith. Let us insist that even without the Tamid offerings, even when the Tamid offerings were nullified, the Jew continued to believe, and so must we. The Tamid offering is not there, but the fire that burns in the heart, that longs for God's presence, is still there. Let that be a constant. I believe that Be'ezrat Hashem, we will be delivered. A better day will come to all of us, to this entire world. May this Tisha B'Av mark not a day of mourning for us, but may it become a day of the beginning of our redemption.